This is the only person on the bottom of the sea who has been alive for 2 days without oxygen and without any equipment. Was fate kind to him or death could not find him? Welcome again to Fact Galaxy Videos. Viewers, there is no doubt that the sea is very scary. But this fear increases when we go inside the ocean. As soon as we go inside, this sea will become more and more desperate to take a human life. 80% of the ocean is where no human has ever been able to go. And of course, no one wants to go. But despite that, ships, and even airplanes full of passengers have also sunk into the depths of the sea, from where no one has been able to return alive. But today's story will revolve around this person, who is both a fortunate and unfortunate person in the world at the same time. Harrison Jagba Okane, who belonged to Nigeria, used to work as a cook on a tugboat. On May 26, 2013, the tugboat left for the Gulf of Guinea with 12 crew members to help an oil tanker, in which Harrison was also present. 32 km from the coast of Nigeria, an oil tanker was stuck at the location mentioned in the Gulf of Guinea. This is a routine job for tugboat operators, because their job is to tow ships or remove them from less water, but today's day was not normal for them in any way. It was 4:30 in the morning, and as usual, they started towing the oil tanker with the help of ropes. As they were moving forward, suddenly a huge, terrifying wave rose from the sea and hit the tugboat. Because of this, the tugboat was under heavy pressure and it flipped. This pressure was so intense that the hooks of the rope with which they were towing the oil tanker also broke, and the tugboat separated from the ship and quickly sank into the water. And as is the case in this situation, there was chaos among the 12 crew members present inside. Most of the crew members were sitting in their cabins, and unfortunately their cabins were locked. Because pirate attacks are very common in this part of the sea, keeping safety in mind, they had already locked the cabins. Locking the cabin may have prevented the pirates from entering, but it was of no use in the face of the seawater. The water was quickly settling in the cabin. But fortunately, Harrison left the cabin before the boat capsized and went to the washroom. By the time the boat capsized, he was only in his underwear and was badly hit by the washroom roof. Now he could understand what had happened. The water started coming in quickly from the flush of the washroom. Somehow he managed to open the door of the washroom. As soon as the door opened, the flow of water carried Harrison to the second washroom of the boat, where an air pocket was present. By this time, the boat was completely dark. So dark that Harrison could not even see his hands. He was just feeling that he was in the water and his face was out of an air pocket. By this time, the tugboat hit the bottom of the sea and sank quietly with a jerk. The tugboat had gone down 30 meters or 100 feet from the ocean surface. This is as deep as the height of an 8-story building. Harrison, who had no experience of swimming in water, was left alone in cold water, wearing only one underwear. He knew that his chance of survival was not equal, because the air pocket in which he was breathing could be filled with water at any time. Somehow he decided to get out of here. Feeling things with his hands, he went underwater and surprisingly found another place where the air pocket was comparatively larger. This was the engineer's office of the tugboat, where he decided to stay. No food, no drink, and oxygen supply was only as much as the oxygen in the air pocket. This air pocket was only 1.2 meters large. In such a small place, how much oxygen will Harrison be able to keep alive? Obviously, his chance of survival was also very low here. Now he was in fear that he heard some sounds. Yes, these were the sounds of sharks eating something. Harrison did not see, but he was sure that the shark had succeeded in reaching his companions. Harrison, who was alive in the mouth of death, now started to use his brain. He found some floating canes of coke on his hands and feet, which he drank to save himself from dehydration. Then he found a floating mattress on which he laid down and pulled his chest out of the water. If he had stayed in cold water for a little longer, he would have become a victim of hypothermia. In this condition, all the heat of the body is released, which has no result other than death. He managed to escape dehydration and hypothermia. But there was one thing that was not getting any solution, and that thing was oxygen. The oxygen level in the air pocket was falling rapidly. According to an estimate, the oxygen in the air pocket was only enough to keep a person alive for 60 hours. Harrison was alive in a small room in a small air pocket 30 meters below the tugboat in the ocean. 2 days had passed since this incident. The oxygen supply, which was already very limited, was now just a matter of a few hours. Harrison was now just waiting for his death in this darkness. After these terrible 2 days of his life, when he was just about to die, he finally heard a knock. The crew of the oil tanker had sent a team of divers who had come to the tugboat to find the bodies. They had no idea that a person would be alive in the air pocket even after 2 days. Meanwhile, Harrison saw light from the water in the engineer's room. There was no end to his happiness when he saw a rescue diver coming out of the water. The diver said that Harrison was only a few minutes away from death at this time. And his body was so exhausted that he could not even open his eyes. The diver immediately put him on an oxygen helmet and tried to normalize his oxygen levels. Harrison was not immediately taken out of the sea. Because of the sudden pressure change, his heart could have failed. For this reason, a diving bell was first called and Harrison was put in it and taken out of the sea. Even after coming out, he had to stay in this diving bell for 2 days because its pressure was slowly decreasing. After 2 days, Harrison became completely normal. After regaining consciousness, he said that he would never wander near the sea again. Harrison Jagba O'Kane are the first and perhaps the last people in the world to spend the most time at the bottom of the sea without any diving equipment and then come back alive. These 2 terrible days of his life have hurt Harrison so deeply that he still has nightmares. I hope you will like and share this video of Fact Galaxy. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next video.